Marketing Manager here with Done Solutions Group. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few items. This session will be recorded, and we will send out a link to the recording to everyone who registered within 24 to 48 hours after the presentation. We also have recordings of all previous webinars on our website in the event that you missed any in the past at donesolutions.com. Also, if you have any questions during today's presentation, we encourage you to submit them, and we will address as many as we have time for at the end of the presentation. If the question is somewhat complex and we need more time to answer, we do promise to follow up with you for those. So let's take a look at today's agenda. I will begin by doing introductions to Done Solutions Group. From there, I will turn it over to today's presenter, Brett Fuller, an application development consultant here at Done Solutions. Brett will discuss a digital transformation overview. He will then go into optimization challenges, and then we will discuss monitoring digital performance with an application like Dynatrace. We will then go over a Dynatrace demonstration and cover any questions that you have at the end. So let's begin. Done Solutions is a digital commerce and business transformation consultancy focused on delivering velocity to our clients. Velocity is achieved by the combination of both speed and direction. Done Solutions helps our clients achieve speed by automating business processes and direction by using advanced analytics. Our teams align with organizations to optimize their unique processes and help them discover the most profitable routes to business success. Done Solutions has a long history of delivering innovative business technology solutions. We are headquartered just outside of Chicago and have offices in Minneapolis, Raleigh, and Bangalore, India. Our offerings fall into two practice areas. Our application development solutions feature portals, e-commerce, and content-managed websites, mobile application development, and custom application development. Our analytics solutions feature analytics and BI platforms, as well as data warehouses and data integration. We are authorized SAP, Liferay, and Microsoft training providers and offer classroom, virtual, private, and custom options. We believe training is important because once we deliver a solution, we want to make sure that those who need it know how to use it and maintain it. Our clients, some of which are included here, are a combination of Fortune 500, mid-market companies, government agencies, and nonprofits across all verticals. About 80% of our business are commercial clients, and 20% nonprofit and government. We maintain strong partnerships with top technology companies in order to offer our clients the most innovative solutions available today. Our application development practice solutions are solutions that are custom and help differentiate our customers from their competitors. We provide solutions on portals, e-commerce, and content-managed websites, custom transactional applications, as well as mobile applications for integration with back-end systems. We've been doing application development since our inception in 1988, and it's one of our core practice areas. Our analytics practice helps deliver information to decision makers throughout your organization so that it runs better. We can help decision making by not only looking into the rearview mirror, but also looking forward into the future by leveraging predictive analytics and data mining techniques. Our SEO solutions offer initial services to get companies up and running in their initiatives, including competitor research and search domain audits, among others. We also offer ongoing SEO services to companies to maintain a strong presence with services including site architecture and digital content optimization, among others. Thank you for allowing me to introduce you to Done Solutions. I will now turn the presentation to Brett. Welcome, Brett.
Thank you. All right, so today our focus is on digital transformation. So as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, digital transformation is really happening everywhere across pretty much every industry. You got finance, travel, consumer goods, retail, you name it, digital transformation is happening there. And it's been happening for years and continues to become increasingly prevalent in this era of smartphones, cloud, social media. So the time is now to start worrying about your digital transformation. In fact, 85% of enterprise decision makers feel that they have a time frame of 2 years to to make significant digital transformation progress before they start suffering financially or falling behind their competitors, according to progress last year. So I wanted to go over some stats about digital transformations, some more. We got 93% of CXOs believe digital will disrupt their business. By 2020, CEOs expect 41% of their revenue to be driven by digital, and also that 87% of companies think digital transformation is a competitive opportunity. So there's a lot of stuff going on recently about digital transformation and how people are seriously considering it and worrying about it. So if you do that right, you can get a lot of new growth and revenue opportunities, or if you do it wrong, you could suffer some revenue loss or even brand damage. So in order to help you get the best digital transformation experience possible, a lot of people recently start using application performance management software, or an APM for short. So what this really does is it monitors the performance and availability of your software applications. Deep down, all it's essentially doing is translating IT metrics into business meaning by collecting and analyzing performance metrics in real time and presenting that in a way such that it's meaningful to business users and other stakeholders. So APMs are useful for tracking your entire digital journey. It's useful for portals and e-commerce sites, so pretty much any site that you can think of, portals, e-commerce, static content websites even, they could greatly benefit from using an APM. So some more stats sort of related to APMs. Less than 3% of incidents are found before affecting users. 60% rate app performance as their number one expectation instead of features. And 51% of millennials will complain on social media when they've got a bad user experience on your website. So using an APM, we could help prevent all of these things from happening. So if you're not using an APM yet, there's a good chance that you're falling behind in your ability to be able to proactively solve some of these problems that we've got here. So now I wanted to go into some optimization challenges about digital transformation. So we got 4 here, one of which is about how digital transformation is really all about the journey and not the destination. So you should really care what happens to your users every step along the way instead of what the end result is, because their journey is what really matters, not as much as the end result. We also see that digital customer experience and digital operation excellence are equally important. So these work hand in hand, which brings us to number 3. People that bring together digital customer experience and operational excellence are able to form a singular digital business, which is very helpful in troubleshooting issues and making sure that your performance monitoring and your website are all intertwined into this one singular entity. And one other important thing is to continuously reinvent your business to stay ahead of the competition. So I was going to go into each of these in a little bit more detail. So the journey is really what we care about, and seeing your user's entire journey provides some really valuable insights, especially if you can do that in real time. So we can track the journey by asking some questions like, where are they entering the site? Where are they spending the most time? Which pages? When are they accessing the site, and where from geographically? When are they dropping off, and what pages are they dropping off from? And one of the most important ones, where exactly are things malfunctioning on your site? So being able to answer all these questions can really give you a good idea of how your user's journey is while they're using your site. So it's also important to know how your users feel while using your site in order to maintain a good digital customer experience. So this concerns things like page load times, or being able to figure out why certain pages load faster or take longer to execute certain things than others. Maybe you've got a really expensive database operation happening on one page that makes it take a long time, whereas on others it's mostly static content. But operating your site with excellence allows you to focus more on other areas like maintaining, reducing maintenance costs or increasing the agility of your development in general. So that brings us to a singular digital business, which essentially combines digital customer experience and digital operational excellence, which will give you a lot more time for improving your site's existing infrastructure. It also means you're going to be spending less time troubleshooting issues. It will help you protect your brand image. And it also, by having these things working together, they allow you to do some real-time tracking and analysis on your user activity. And really, having a singular digital business can help drive customer loyalty and help prevent them from abandoning your site at some point along the way. So, performance monitor digital experience really helps with tracking down issues more quickly using some sort of APM. It also helps if these can integrate into issue tracking systems, such as like ServiceNow or Slack. It's also important to be able to address customer experience issues proactively instead of reactively by monitoring abnormal behavior on your site. By doing this, it really helps build customer loyalty and retention and ensures successful customer journeys that can translate directly into ROI. So next up, I'm going to give a brief overview of what Dynatrace is capable of. So Dynatrace is really cool. It allows you to collect and analyze performance and user behavior in real time, and then automatically presents insights based on that gathered data to enable some collaboration between lots of different stakeholders. So your developers, your people in charge of making sure the IT infrastructure is all set up correctly, or even your business users who are analyzing the user activity. So Dynatrace helps out to do this by having this great breadth and depth needed to show that users' individual experience in real time at every step along the way during their session while interacting with your site. Dynatrace is pretty helpful in allowing you to pinpoint problems at very fine levels. This could mean down to specific user devices, network connections, or even single lines of code. Next up, I wanted to talk about the architecture at a high level of where Dynatrace sits in your application before going on to the demonstration. So this is essentially what a lot of web servers kind of look like. They've got your main server here in the middle, that may be running something like Liferay or Hybris. And this is where Dynatrace sits, is on the same box as your web server. And from there, it monitors all of the incoming and outgoing traffic to all of your other servers or integration points, like third-party integrations with Facebook or Twitter, or maybe you've got direct integration with the FTP server that your company manages. And of course, we've got a bunch of different types of database servers that Dynatrace is capable of monitoring. So really, this allows us to get a singular, comprehensive view of how all these integration points work together. And that's really the true value of Dynatrace when I've been working with it, is being able to see everything in this one singular view. So now I was going to go onto our demonstration. So 1 second here. Okay. So when you log into Dynatrace, you're going to be presented with this dashboard page, which allows you to customize a number of things. It also gives you a sort of brief overview of how your site's doing. If you want, you can customize a lot of the stuff that shows up here and add different sorts of widgets and things to help you identify certain areas of problems or things like that. So one of the first things I wanted to go over was the tracking of individual user sessions. So in this user sessions section, you can see a lot of interesting data, such as right now we're showing the location of all of the current active user sessions on our Done Solutions website right now. So this map allows you to drill into different geographic areas, or even, down to the level of states. So in here, you can click on any of these individual users and see some more information about what they're doing in their session right now. So it'll tell you what sort of device they're using, when they started interacting with the site, and what they're doing during their session. So see they're using a Mac and Chrome. See a lot of pretty interesting information here about, how long certain page loads were, and a general measurement of how satisfied Dynatrace thinks their experience was. And for each of these, we can expand and see a little bit more detail about what portions of the load time were taking the longest and things like that. So if I go back here, I also wanted to show a couple other things in here, such as being able to see which users that are currently using your site, the breakdown of whether they're on mobile or desktop. For each of these, you can click on it and see what device or what browser they're specifically using. So and this is all actually being shown and analyzing data over the last 2 hours. But if I wanted to, I could change the time range up here to something like 7 days to get a better overview of how your site's been doing in the past week. So in here, I can switch over back to the location for a second. So see, we got a little bit more activity in other areas after I switched it to 7 days. A surprising number of places around the world. See, in the last week or so, this person had 34 sessions on our site that we were able to see. So you can also look at a number of other things in here, such as when JavaScript errors were happening, or what percentage of people are bouncing on your site. Also, different sorts of views. So yeah, there's a lot you can do in this user session section that'll provide you with some pretty valuable insights. So the next thing I wanted to go onto and show is the reports section. So every week, Dynatrace will generate a service quality report to give you a general idea of how well your site has been performing over the past week. So this is our one from last week. It counts the number of user actions that were monitored and gives your site a score based on the availability and the performance, things like that. It tells you which parts of your site were used the most, which in ours, no surprise there, is the web application, the actual site itself. It tracks, which areas had more user actions than the previous week, or which areas had less user actions than the previous week. It's like in general, ours is pretty similar to the previous week. If we come down a little further, we can see the breakdown of, which users are using our site from where. A little further down, it'll track how many service calls on your site failed, which things experience the most load per minute. So ours is the database. That one gets hit quite a lot. And our static content also gets hit quite a lot. A little further down, it tracks how well your infrastructure is doing. And the general overview of your site's resources and how the CPU usage has been over the past week. So this is pretty valuable for, I would say, a lot of people, especially business users who might not care as much about the nitty-gritty details of which individual line of code is failing and things like that. There's definitely a lot of value to this. So next I wanted to show this problems section, which also, this is also taking into this filter, it also takes this filter into effect. So over the last 7 days, I had been, while I was preparing for this webinar, I was creating a bunch of 404 errors in the interest of being able to show that there was problems in here. So in here, you'll notice that Dynatrace detected that this is pretty abnormal, so it was able to log that here and say, hey, there's a lot more 404 errors happening than normal. Somebody should probably come in here and look at it. So you can go look and see exactly which part was failing. So another thing I wanted to mention that we sort of touched on during the presentation was that a lot of this stuff is being, well, all of this stuff is being tracked in real time. So to show you guys that that is actually happening, I was going to go to our company website and show some more 404 errors, some ones that I've just created myself. I'm going to refresh this a few times to create a bunch of 404 errors. So then, if we come into this transactions and services section, so you'll notice that the URL I was going to was this dunsolutions.com/content, which corresponds to this service right here. So in here, we can go look at the failure rate. If we come into here, this is when you're messing around. You'll see down here at 11:27 Central Time, we got a large increase in the number of 400 errors, 20 or so. So I can go in and view the details of those and see exactly what's happening. Sure enough, we see that there were 20 requests to this page that doesn't exist. So things like this can really help you track down some places on your website that might have bad links. For example, if one of your content editors accidentally pasted something in wrong, or somebody just made an honest mistake. And if that is coming from somewhere within your own website, you would be able to see it under referring pages. It would say which site the 404 error originated from, or which page exactly directed them to that 404 page. So that'll allow you to get a good idea of where exactly these issues happened. So one other thing I wanted to show was some of the more developer-oriented aspects of this, some of which allow you to see which pieces of code are executing and creating all of these errors, or providing some sort of performance bottleneck. So we can see here that this Tomcat service is using a lot of CPU usage at some times. So down here we can go to the individual line of code level to see which lines of code are actually using the processor the most. So down here we see it's mostly page rendering related, which is a fairly expensive operation, so that's pretty normal for a site that runs on Liferay, like our company site does. Another cool thing that Dynatrace is capable of doing is tracking individual database transactions. So you can see which transactions are failing or which ones are taking the most amount of time. So we can see which database statements are actually being executed if we really wanted to. It gives you very fine-grained detail about what your site is doing in general. And to go back a bit to that idea of this singular view of all of the integration points that Dynatrace is able to track, it has this cool page called the Smartscape topology, which presents you with some information about how each of your individual services are interconnected on your site. So in here we can hide stuff that is not connected to anything, or we can hide anything that's inactive. So you'll see this is our database here, and that is interacting with a bunch of other pieces that are on our site. So it's something that's cool that gives you a general idea of how everything is interconnected. So one thing I forgot to mention on this problem screen was the ability to set up notifications when problems happen. So this is, in my opinion, one of the best parts about Dynatrace is that you can come in here and set up notifications by email, by some third-party providers like ServiceNow, Slack, HipChat. So when Dynatrace detects issues, you could have it automatically create tickets in these issue tracking systems, or you could email people on your teams that are in charge of handling all of this stuff. In addition to these issue tracking systems, Dynatrace also has a mobile app that you can set up notifications for, so you could get those directly to your phone if you do choose to use the mobile app, which is another thing that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of powerful things you can do with this, and we've only really scratched the surface. So that is everything I wanted to demonstrate today. So if we just wanted to switch back to the PowerPoint for a second, I'm going to show my other screen. So just to recap, I hope I made it clear that your customer journey is really the most important thing here, and being able to track that at every step along the way and being able to note the errors and other points of interest provide you with really valuable information that can help you track down issues more quickly. And having that singular customer experience digitally integrated with operational excellence helps a lot. And being able to integrate with issue tracking systems, like I just showed, can really help a lot and give you a pretty large advantage when dealing with making these two things work together. And having that unified digital business really gives all parties involved valuable insights and information that will help them succeed in providing the best user experience possible. Lastly, digital transformation really helps your business grow and surpass your competition by staying ahead of the curve, and really allows you to take advantage of this unified digital business experience that we created through the help of using an APM. All right.
Thank you, Brett, for your presentation. That was very insightful. If anyone in the audience has any questions, please feel free to type those in, and we'd be happy to get back to you for those. If not, thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you at future webinars. We will be hosting more about Dynatrace, where we'll be discussing deeper level technical perspectives of using this application monitoring platform. So we hope to see you at those, and we'll make sure that you receive the invite. Thanks for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your day.